All right, so as far as applying artwork to a cab that you may have purchased from the previous owners, as of right now anyway, we're gonna be shipping them without bolt holes because on our new cabs, the bolt holes are slightly different, so there will be no bolt holes here. So the first thing you guys should do is just, lay your cabinet on the side like this. It's good to start with the top, and you're gonna wanna remove all of the bolts when it's on the side like this. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, so now that the bolt holes are out, we're gonna go ahead and start applying the artwork. Now we do have an in-depth video on applying artwork, but we do wanna go over a few things, being that this is an older cab that we have here, and you're gonna be applying artwork to an older cab. So basically, the artwork that we're gonna provide is not gonna be a perfect fit for this shape. The shape of our cabinets currently is slightly different, and that's what the artwork is gonna be cut for, but it's actually a little bit bigger than this, so you're gonna end up with some bleed, which is good because you can trim it. Now, it's up to you whether you remove the T-molding or not. You should remove it, or I should say removing the T-molding is the right way to do it, right? You wanna apply the artwork to the cabinet before the T-molding is on so that you can trim it nice and easily with a blade all around using the wood as a guide. But you can do it with the T-molding. Whether you take it off or not is up to you. We recommend that you do take it off. So we're actually gonna do that here. We're gonna take it off, and you can basically just lift on it like this and just start peeling it off. It'll come right off. Just go slowly, and then you can just put it right back in when you're done. So we're gonna go ahead and finish that, and we'll be right back. All right, so the T-molding has been removed, as you can see here. There it is. You can just put it right back when you're done. So now we're gonna go ahead and take the artwork. Now this other part is up to you as well. Like I said before, the artwork is actually gonna be slightly bigger than this. So you can go about it two ways. You can lay it right in the middle and have a little bit of bleed on the back here and the front, and then you can trim all around, or you can actually align it to the back line right here, as well as the top line right here, and then you're just gonna have to trim the front part over here and the bottom. All right, so it's up to you which of those two ways you wanna go about it. All right, so here we went ahead and applied the artwork, and we did go ahead and align the back to the edge here, all the way from the bottom to the top. And over here on the top is also aligned nice and flush. And then we're just gonna have to trim the excess here in the front all around and a little bit on the bottom here. Now notice that doing it that way, you do end up with that tiny little bit of wood exposed right there, but that's really not noticeable. When you're at any reasonable distance away, you're not gonna notice that. And doing it this way, as opposed to centering the image and then cutting all around, is gonna probably give you a better results in matching the top half of the cabinet and the bottom half, because you can do the same thing using the edge as a guide. And if you do it the same way on the bottom, you're more likely to have the character line up with the top portion and the bottom portion of the cab. So we're gonna go ahead and trim this part now, and then we'll continue to the bottom of the cabinet. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys the trimming process, even though, like I said, we go over this in our main video for installing graphics, but it's pretty simple. You're gonna use the edge of the wood as a guide, and all you have to do is get started here and then just go nice and smooth. Now these dowels are gonna get in your way, so just be mindful of those because they'll mess up the cut, but we're gonna do the best we can here. So I have just a little bit of the tip in there so that I don't clash against the dowels there. I'm just gonna keep going. There you go, you have a pretty nice clean cut right there. And we're just gonna do the same thing all around the cabinet. Now, the other thing on these is, again, you have no bolt holes, so just kind of feel out where those are. Like there's one right there, and you can just poke a hole through and just kind of cut it like that. It doesn't have to be even or anything because that's gonna be covered by a bolt. So there you go. Now you have the bolt hole. You're gonna do that with all the holes, and then you're gonna continue from there. All right, so we have the bolts back in now that we trimmed the artwork, and now we're just gonna put the T-molding back in. So you just align it with the bottom right here, nice and flush, and then you just press in and just go all around until you have it all back in. All right, so here we have the T-molding back in place. Looks nice and neat, and we're just gonna go ahead and take the bottom part now, put it on its side, and kind of put the two together on the side on the floor so that we can do a better job of aligning the top artwork and the bottom artwork so it's not offset. All right, so we have the bottom and the top assembled, basically the full cab assembled on its side on the floor, and all the bolts are removed. Now the old cabs had these grills here. It does not matter, you can just put the artwork right over that. And as you can see here, We've aligned the top there to the edge here, and we've aligned this edge. And because we did the top the same way, where we aligned the back edge first and then we trimmed the front, then the alignment is pretty much spot on right there. So right now we're just gonna go ahead and apply the entire bottom portion, and we're gonna again remove the T-molding right here so we can do a nice trim all around. Now this cabinet does have a little bit of damage here, so you know that's something to compensate for. You might want to put like a ruler here. It's probably what I'm gonna try doing here. Is I'm gonna take this ruler and I'm gonna put it down, create a nice straight edge, and then I'm gonna use that as my guide to trim, and then I'll take the ruler out and put down the artwork. Just a little bit of a tip there, you have the same kind of damage on your cab. All right, so we went ahead and finished the bottom part here. Like I said, I did use the ruler on this one just because I wanted to get a nice clean cut, and the damage on the cab wasn't gonna allow me to do that with the blade. Once I was cutting, it was gonna start kind of, you know, giving me some little curves and stuff. So I went ahead and used the ruler. This is all like optional tips for you guys if you have damage on your cab. Again, I took out the front T-molding, and then I did the cut to get a nice clean cut against the edge of the wood, and then I went ahead and put the T-molding back on. Very easy to do. All right, so for the front panels, if you guys do have artwork for these 3 panels here, the best option is to lay it on its back like this, and then just do the best you can to apply the panels here in this state like this. So we're gonna actually give that a shot right now without having to disassemble the cab. All right, so we have this front panel here pretty much in place, pretty nicely aligned. So what we did here is we cut the backing off of this whole side over here and a little bit off the back here. So you can see there's no backing here and there's no backing over here, just so we can align this side and the top side like that. So this whole part here is nicely aligned. So now we're just going to go ahead and start taking out the backing and just, you know, using the squeegee to squeegee down the artwork. And if we have any excess over here, we're just going to cut it as best as we can. All right, so that worked out pretty well. Like I said, we started with just aligning it perfectly on this side and also on the top here, and then we just went ahead, laid it down, squeegeed it, and as you can see, there's some excess here. So we're just going to take the blade and just run it straight down like this. And then these older cabs used to have the bottom piece of wood right here that would be sticking out a little bit underneath the front panel. So we're probably gonna either cut it at the end over here and leave a little bit of a step there like that, or just run the blade over here and leave that one piece of wood exposed there. So we'll see what we end up doing right now. But you know, the good thing about this material is that it's very forgiving. You can put this down, rip it back up, no problem. It's not gonna get stuck on there or anything. So you guys don't have to worry if you are applying it and something's off. You can just peel it up and then put it back down, no problem. All right, so that came out really good. We actually, just like I mentioned before, we took the blade, pointed right at the corner, just went all the way down like that, nice and straight. And then we did the same thing right here, just went down all the way and got all the excess out of there. It looks very clean. I'm gonna repeat the same process with the other 2 panels. All right, so like I said, we're gonna repeat the process. I just wanted to show you guys as I'm doing it. So basically, like we did on the other one, we took a little bit of the excess off on this side just to align it, and also like all the way across the top there, see that? So then I'm gonna go ahead and align it here. I'm gonna align it with the bottom and the bottom here and the side right there. So I'm doing that now. And you can see like this stuff, you can stick it down, you can rip it back up. So you don't need to worry about, you know, messing the artwork up or anything. So I'm gonna align it right there, bottom and side. That's pretty much perfect right there. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and start taking out the rest of the backing, and then kind of sneak it under there like that. There you go. And I'm gonna take a squeegee and just apply it. Gonna push it against the side there. Give it a nice angle there. And we're just gonna take the blade and cut that off. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim it now. Perfect. All right, and we're just gonna trim the top here now. All right, so we went ahead and finished off all the front panels there, put the whole thing together, missing the marquee there still and missing a trackball, but other than that, it's looking great. So this is what you should expect applying the artwork to an old cab. Hope this video was helpful, and we'll see you guys on the next video.